We are just a couple weeks away from NFL free agency, and the NFL offseason is about to get underway. There's been a lot of talk about the New York Giants making a big-time move this offseason. So on today's show, we're kicking it back blockbuster style. Blockbuster trade ideas for the New York Football Giants. I do believe they are going to be aggressive this offseason. You have a general manager in Joe Schoen who knows that his job is on the line. Whether it is the right move or whether it is the wrong move, I think there will be a big move coming down the pipeline where he is going to try to add a premium player at a premium position to really just lower the floor when it comes to the talent of this overall roster. When he spoke to the media on Black Monday over a month ago about where the roster is and how he feels like his job has been, he was pretty honest. The question was, who does this fall on in your mind in terms of the performance this season? Joe Schoen said, first and foremost, myself. We're not good enough. We didn't play well enough. I've got to do a better job assembling a roster with more talent so we can go out and compete at a higher level. So I look inward, first and foremost. And then just a couple of weeks after that, Jordan Renan released this, saying, I expect the Giants to add a significant weapon via free agency or a trade. I'm not going to guarantee that a big deal gets done, but when your owner and your boss and John Mara says things like this, it's definitely going to heat up Joe Schoen's seat and maybe make him a little bit more aggressive. Mara was asked, how long will it take to improve the product? John Mara said, it better not take too long because I've just about run out of patience. If that's not any motivation to go out and improve this roster in any way possible, I don't know what is. Joe and Brian are smart guys. Maybe not the best football minds in the world, but they know their jobs are on the line. And they know if there is not, I would say, significant improvement from 3-14, maybe to get to 6-11 or 7-10, they're most likely going to be fired. And if there is an improvement at the quarterback position, or you don't draft a rookie quarterback and have a good feeling when week 18 comes and goes, you will go. Look, I want to make this clear. I think Joe Schoen should have been fired. And I don't want to go into a long tangent of why I felt that way. You can go check out the other videos on this channel. But the main reason was this. Joe Schoen now is GMing for his job. He is GMing to remain the GM. And GMing for your job and GMing for the best interest and the long-term interest of the New York Football Giants are two different things. And right now, that's where Joe Schoen is. Is he going to pull a Dave Gettleman and go out and pay Patrick O'Mame and Olivier Vernon and all the scrubs they overpaid? Or is he going to continue to methodically build this organization and the roster up? We'll find out. If he's going to pull off a blockbuster trade, I expect him to look first and foremost, though, at Matthew Stafford. We've been following this story for quite some time, and I do believe at this point, this story has moved out of the rumor mill. This has become a report, and this is the truth. And to be honest with you, why would it not be the truth? The Giants need a quarterback. Matt Stafford may be leaving the Rams. He's still a top 3 quarterback in the NFC. And you need someone on your team that can do that. Of course the Giants are going to be interested in Matthew Stafford if he is available. Kind of the backstory here. Matt Stafford said he is going to take time to think about his NFL future. That's what he said after the season. And it's pretty much reported very well at this point that if he is going to remain a Los Angeles Ram, they are going to need to rework that contract or just scrap it up and create a extremely new contract because there's no guaranteed money left on that deal for 2025 or 2026. Stafford can still sling it. He is still a gamer, and he is still one of the best in the league. They were one play away from getting to the NFC Championship game and dethroning the Philadelphia Eagles. On the road, in the snow, at the Link. Don't tell me he can't play outside. Don't tell me he can't succeed with the New York Football Giants. Let's stop acting like that Rams offensive line was that good, because it wasn't. This is someone that can still get it done from inside the pocket. I know he's aging at age 37, but he would bring some leadership, a winning mentality, and an overall talent at the quarterback position that the Giants have not had since number 10 decided to hang it up, which means it's going to cost a lot via a trade. And I know there's been reports that the Rams want the number 3 pick. If they do, you hang up and you block the number. Number 3 is not up for discussion for Matt Stafford. I'm willing to offer pick number 34. What I'm not willing to do, though, is give him a new contract. I'll fully guarantee the $27 million that you're going to be owed from the Giants at 2025. I'll fully guarantee the $31 million you are due if you get traded to the Giants in 2026. What I will not do is give up the number 34 pick and then $100 million over 2 years. I can't get it. I can't have that happen. You have 2 more years left on that contract. I'll guarantee the money what you want, but what's the point of trading the number 34 overall pick and allocating $100 more million to Matthew Stafford? What made him so attractive as a trade piece, obviously he's a damn good quarterback, but it was the low cap hits for this year and next year. I'll do this deal, but I'm not giving him a new contract extension. From quarterback to receiver, I think the Giants can make a move at this position, and Jordan Renan talked about it, and we referenced it at the top of the show. What about Deebo Samuel of the San Francisco 49ers? Rumors are heating up that Deebo has requested a trade once again from the 49ers. He apparently sat down in his exit interviews following Week 18 with Shanahan and with Lynch and said, I think it's best for both parties to just move on at this point. The question now becomes, should the Giants make a trade for the 29-year-old playmaking wide receiver? Let's start with this. I do think Deebo Samuel is still a good player. Deebo Samuel is no longer a great and elite wide receiver in this league, and that is depicted in the stats that you see on screen right now. Every single year, the stats get worse and worse and worse. Look at the yards per catch. 18 to 11, then back up to 14, then back down to 13. The yards go down every single year. Also, he has missed a pretty good chunk of time in each of the last 3 seasons. I do think he would be a good player on this offense. His versatility, his ability to be used in different ways, his ability to generate yards after the catch. Take all of the catches that Wan'Dale Robinson had last year and all the times he touched the football and just give those to Deebo Samuel, and you're going to have a much better player in that spot. I do still think there is a playmaker in Deebo that could help this Giants team. It comes down to, are you willing to play on the contract you are on, and how much of the trade would it cost? The 33rd team, which is a new and really good NFL media outlet, they listed the Giants as a top trade destination for Deebo. And they said this, outside of Neighbors, the Giants don't have another impact playmaker at receiver or tight end. Darius Slayton will be a free agent. And while Wan'Dale Robinson had just 1.21 yards per reception, despite significant volume in the slot in 2024, they can't have a rookie quarterback trying to force feed one target, even one as talented as Neighbors. Adding a safety blanket underneath a veteran like Samuel is the perfect way to settle down a rookie quarterback early in their career, especially with a coaching staff led by Brian Daboll. Neighbors and Samuel bring a great 1-2 punch to any offense, especially one that will likely be getting a new quarterback this offseason. I am interested in making a trade for Deebo Samuel. I'm not willing to do whatever it takes, though. And to be honest with you, I don't think it should cost all that much. A 29-year-old wide receiver who is definitely declining, still can produce, and makes a pretty penny, it's not going to cost all that much, I don't believe. In the 33rd team, they actually came out with a trade idea where the Giants would trade pick 65, the first pick in the 3rd round, to San Francisco, acquire Deebo, as well as pick 112. So you give up a 3rd to acquire Deebo and a 4th? Yeah, I would pull the trigger on that move. This one would be a blockbuster. This one would have everybody going crazy. What about Quinnen Williams, the defensive tackle for the New York Jets? Well, Marshall, the New York Jets would never trade Quinnen Williams. Well, what about if Quinnen Williams says, I'm not playing here anymore? Because he did tweet out after the news that Aaron Rodgers will not be a part of the Jets any longer. He said, another rebuild year for me, I guess. Then a thumbs down emoji. And then those tweets were then deleted. He is pissed off. He does not want to be a part of a losing Jets team anymore. And I'm not saying the New York Giants are a winning team, but I'm just trying to find a blockbuster trade. And I'll tell you this much. If the 27-year-old Quinnen Williams is available, you do what it takes to go get that trade done. If you can form a defensive line with Williams, with Lawrence, with Brian Burns, that's how you win. That's how you build a competitive roster. That's how you win games in the NFC East. And it looks like that's how you win games in the Super Bowl. We all saw what just happened to Patrick Mahomes. Quinnen Williams is one of, if not the best defensive tackle right behind Dexter Lawrence. 54 pressures this year, 70 pressures last year, 52 the year before that, and 34 the year before that. 8 tackles for loss, 11 tackles for loss, 12, 6 sacks, 5.5, 12 sacks. Look, it's a lot of money and a lot of resources, a lot into the defensive line. But I think we've all learned at this point, you win in this league in the trenches. You got to have an elite quarterback, but if you have an elite offensive line and you have an elite defensive line, you can win a Super Bowl with maybe not the best quarterback play in the league. Look, I don't know what it would take to get a trade done. I don't even know if this is enough. Maybe pick 34 in your first round pick of 2026. You take the rookie quarterback this year, then maybe you still are only going to be a top 12 pick in the league in 2026. I'm not saying this is enough. I'm not saying this isn't enough. I'm just saying, if Big Bad Quinnen Williams is on the trade block, Joe Schoen, you better pick up the phone and at least figure out how much it might cost to make a deal happen. I got one more blockbuster trade to talk about and then 2 other players to monitor. First, though, if you want to get your Malik Neighbors jersey ready to go for the 2025 NFL season, go to chatsports.com/neighbors. That is chatsports.com/neighbors and get your jersey today. Let's go back to the wide receiver position because I do think that is a position the Giants are going to go out and target pretty heavily. DK Metcalf is someone that we have heard here at Chat Sports could be looking A, for a new deal, or B, looking to go play for a new team. He's entering the last year of his contract, and he has a $31 million cap hit for the Seattle Seahawks. And at 27 years old, he could still play. And you see this a lot. Players don't want to play on that last year of their contract. I'm sure DK and his agents are pushing to get a new deal done, and maybe the Seahawks do it, or maybe they don't. And maybe they look at it and say, you know what? He wants a lot of money. We don't know if we want him here long term. Can we go and get a premium pick back for him and kind of reset that wide receiver position with Jackson Smith and Jigba becoming our wide receiver 1 here relatively soon? If DK Metcalf is traded, the Seahawks do save a little bit of money, $10.8 million in cap savings with a $21 million cap hit. And look, DK is off to one of the best receiver starts in NFL history. Kind of crazy that he almost has 4 straight 1,000-year receiving seasons. Missed it just by 33 yards in 2021. And he missed it just by 8 yards this past year. But he's a big, physical, outside receiver that I think would be a really nice compliment to a guy like Malik Neighbors. If the Giants do trade for him, he would have a cap hit of about $18 million if he does join the Giants. He would also want a new and a long-term deal. I think the Seahawks would want that pick, number 34. I think that is probably fair compensation for both sides. The question you probably want to ask yourself is, can you get a receiver that could maybe be DK Metcalf one day at pick 34, or is there a player that you think could be better at pick 34 than DK Metcalf one day? You got to add another playmaker to this team. If you enter the season with Wan'Dale Robinson or Darius Slayton as your wide receiver 2, you didn't do enough this year on the offensive side to actually consistently win some football games, and you didn't put the supporting cast around a rookie quarterback. 2 other guys that I think everyone should be monitoring to go in a trade is Myles Garrett. We've talked about him on the channel. He has requested a trade from the Cleveland Browns. I said in that video, and I still feel as if the Giants aren't going to be a team he's interested in because he's told the Browns he wants to go win a Super Bowl. And as much blue as I bleed, I still think the Giants are a couple of years away for that. Cooper Kupp could be traded. The Rams have informed him that he can go seek a trade. I think he's going to get cut. And I actually do think it is kind of likely the Giants could pursue the veteran wide receiver. Name a player you want the Giants to trade for. We've talked about 6 star NFL players on the show. Is there another quarterback? Is there a corner? Is there a safety? Is there an offensive lineman you think they should trade for? Give me a name and make sure you are following me on social media. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram @MarshallGreen_. Hit me up and let's go Big Blue.